Welcome to Making Sense with Steve. Today, let's talk about Kevin Samuels. I was first introduced to Kevin Samuels with that viral video.
You're average looking at best.
I went to Kevin Samuels' YouTube channel at that time and grabbed me a screenshot. And I thought it was rather impressive. But then,
Along came
Regina,
this is what
Regina,
had to say.
her little YouTube station. And
At first, I thought that she was just mistaken by one, saying it was little, and two, saying it was a station instead of a channel. But then I heard this.
My little YouTube station.
It was then I realized just how wrong I had been.
You're average looking at best.
Had created quite a firestorm on the internet. Here's a portion of what happened on the Clubhouse when Kevin Samuels was a guest.
Has happened. Have you reached out to her to maybe just say anything like, I'm sorry that, it came across the way that it did, or, anything to her to just kind of say like, maybe my tone or maybe what I said or my frustration that you weren't respecting, what I was trying to do that night with my show led me to act the way that I did. Because when I saw it, I was stunned.
You know what I find interesting? Is that you expect a man who was running a business when a woman who was an avid viewer of the show called in on an inappropriate day. And I did my level best to talk to this woman, irrespective of my platform. And for 23 minutes, I tried to give her exactly what she wanted. So, and no, has she called me to say, you know what, sir, I'm sorry for calling in on the wrong day. I know I should have did that. I'm sorry for not paying attention, picking up my phone, doing that. I'm sorry for laughing and acting inappropriate. See, but that's the way the conversation's always been. It's always on the black man to bend over backwards and come back to queen black woman and beg for your forgiveness. It ain't gonna happen. I said what I meant and I meant what I said. That's why it's up.
That's right. Okay. And that's fine. Okay, so you didn't. So my thing is this,
I didn't, nor should I. I didn't, and I don't, and nor should I have been expected.
Okay, and that's fine. That's it's your show, it's your decision. But this is the other thing. If you are because I'm on television as well, and if you have your own show and somebody is doing something that you find disrespectful to your show, just like you hung up on me, you could have hung up on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even have to continue having the conversation.
Please don't tell me what I should or should not do.
I didn't say
what
I did. I said you could
Look,
have.
Rochelle, I could have done a lot of things, but I did what I did.
Yeah, I know you did. I'm just saying.
Okay, but here's the thing. You're just saying, but here's the thing. I find it very rich. We are always telling men what we should do. They told Kevin Kelly what he should do in his restaurant too. He put $1 million plus into a business during the pandemic to employ black people. And because he said, get the fuck out, I don't need your money, they wanted to cancel the brother. 82% of men say there are no marriageable women on the market. When are you ladies going to start listening to men instead of telling us what we should do?
Exactly.
I didn't say, okay.
Yes, you have.
I did not say I didn't say you had to do that. But what I'm saying is,
why would you think it's on my, why would you think it's on me to reach out to this woman and call her? She is not a poor wounded bird.
That's that, Kevin.
Hold on, no. But the thing is, hold on. But my question is, I didn't ask you a follow-up question. Why would I need to follow up with a middle-aged entrepreneur, 35-year-old business owner, mother of one, to coddle her feelings like she's a wounded little bird?
That's not what I said. I asked you I asked you if you did. I didn't say that you should have. I didn't say that you needed to. I just asked you a question. That's it. You didn't do it. Okay, moving on. I never said you needed to do anything. I just asked.
But you asked a question for a reason. Okay. And the thing is, if I were Gordon Ramsay, if I were Simon Cowell, I wouldn't be asked, well, did you really have to be the way you, when you told that person they are a ghastly singer, did you send them a message and say, I shouldn't have said it? How you
Simon
doing?
Cowell is a narcissist and an asshole too. So I mean, there's no difference between them two.
Oh, okay, two. Interesting, two.
Mm-hmm.
I let that all play out because I wanted everyone to hear what Mr. Samuels had to say. And now that we've heard what this woman had to say on the Clubhouse. Let's take a look at what actually occurred in the video in question.
You rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. You cannot use 7.
Would I rate myself?
Just your face.
My face when I wake up, 5, but when I put myself together, 6.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'5".
Dress size.
I'm sorry?
Your dress size.
A 3.
Okay. So that makes you, if you give yourself a 5, that's average.
Yes.
So she rated herself as a 5. Mr. Samuel said that makes her average, and she agreed and said yes. The only conclusion I can draw from this is repeating what someone else said is wrong, and Mr. Samuel should have apologized to her for repeating what she said, and she agreed with him. Another one of his videos that seemed to have created somewhat of a firestorm on the internet was this one. Now, I intended on cutting this down, but again, when it comes to the content of Kevin Samuels, you gotta play the entire thing to get the entire context.
One of the things I kept hearing is the notion of fairness. Why is that so important to you?
I hate to admit it, but I do. Like, I'm half a man. I'm just a pretty girl. And I don't think that I should have to accept less in life because I was born with different equipment. I think that's bull.
I'm a female. Hear me roar.
Well, if you're half a man, then you should understand this full concept that men don't care about fair.
I don't have to care about fair either.
No. Men don't care about fair, or else we wouldn't conquer other people. Men don't care about fair. We conquer. It's winners and losers.
I didn't know that only men were part of conquering.
Well, name me some great female warriors that have dominated the planet.
Well, I mean, I'm learning new education here, which is only men conquer.
No.
I mean, that's what you're telling me, right?
No. Well, see, what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to switch that. I'm asking about fairness. And I said about fairness. Why is fairness so important? You said because you're half a man.
Because if you expect something of me, I should be allowed to expect the same of you. And if you can't offer me that, you don't deserve to be in my life.
But that has nothing to do with fairness.
It has everything to do with fairness.
No, fairness means you get an opportunity. Fairness doesn't mean you get an outcome.
Oh my God.
You get an interview, not guaranteed a job.
No, you're not. But I work very, very hard to ensure that I keep it.
I rebuke.
Well, if that's the case, you should. If that's the case,
right?
If that's the case, then if that's the case, you should be able to secure the things you want. So you should have no problem. Hard work gets you a ticket to the dance. It doesn't guarantee you the top spot. How many? Who lost the Super Bowl, guys?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Can you say they worked hard this year?
Very hard.
Number 2. Men don't worry about fairness. We worry about winning.
I also don't care about those things.
But so you only care about fairness when it doesn't benefit you. Well, see, the thing is, ma'am, see what you've proven, like many feminists and many women, you're okay with the double standards that benefit you. But the ones you don't like, you just throw at the wind, use sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right to deflect and dismiss guys who are normally intimidated by this thing. I'm not. I'm just challenging your position. You're okay with it not being fair when it benefits you.
You're oversimplifying a very complex situation.
No, it's not really complex. There are no such thing as loyal. The concept of a loyal, highly effective, competitive alpha is a female notion.
I built my own world. So
no, ma'am, you used the world we built. No, ma'am, you used the world men built. You like the rules that benefit you, getting into the club for free, but you don't like the rules that benefit men. High value men have the leverage.
You because I'm 31 years old and I'm getting a little fed up of these men kind of attacking me.
Danger zone.
I do not go to clubs anymore. So please stop with your double standard bullshit. I work in a man's world, and if anything, I've had to work
5 times as hard in this world as a man to get where I am.
I've had to put up at 31 years old and deal with men's bullshit.
You live in a first world country. You're in Miami, one of the most posh places on the planet, complaining about double standards that you participate in. The nerve. What effort are women putting in today? Women still want men to move in a traditional way, but yet you're not traditional women.
Is there a crickets button?
Bullshit.
And of course, the internet exploded. Here is one take on what happened with that exchange.
wrapped up perfectly. And that is because the way she walked away is that this entire discussion was completely counterproductive. So we might like it that we see that he's kind of calling her out on all this BS, but ultimately what happened was is these women say, well, we don't want to date at all. And their only takeaway was dating isn't unfair and guys just want all these unfair benefits so they can take advantage of and turn women into slaves like the 1950s. So what that means is if we want to be smart about this is we need to look at these conversations, see how this was completely counterproductive as far as doing anything we want as far as balancing the masculine and feminine, other than maybe teaching guys the true nature of all this stuff, is most importantly how they use negative and positive social sexual reward to manipulate guys, which he calls sign language. That's important. But from actually coming up with solutions, it's clearly not working, except for that one point. So we can start to understand this stuff, which is exactly what we're doing on this channel, as far as how we can appeal to women to come up with actual solutions rather than just complaining about the situation.
When it comes to debate, discussion, I had always thought that it kind of went along like this.
You're attempting to convince people who are in the audience. So it really is more about knocking the opponent's arguments out and making sure that the audience understands that.
Another video that he had was concerning staying in your own lane. In other words, women have their role and men have theirs. And I got to thinking about my dog. She's a rabbit dog. And the way a rabbit dog works is they track rabbits. And a rabbit will run in a circle if it's just gently bumped around a circle. So you don't want your dog to be too fast. And what happens is, once your dog starts to hollering, you just stand where you're at. And a good dog will bring that rabbit right around in front of you. That's the role between the dog and the hunter. She stays in her lane, I stay in mine, and we both eat that night. Now imagine if the dog decided that she was going to tell me how to do it, and that I was supposed to track and kill the rabbit while she just sat in a truck telling me how it's supposed to be done. And then when it doesn't work, blame me for her bad plan. You see, when you stay in your lane and the man stays in his lane, you both get to eat that night. Things just work. I was not able to locate the video that I'm referencing here, nor have I bothered to locate any response videos to it so that I could show you like I did with the first couple. I am thankful that I found Kevin Samuels on YouTube, and I've listened to many of his videos, most all of them, at least recent ones. I'm learning a lot from Mr. Samuels. Number one, I learned that not only was I and YouTube incorrect, that they're not channels, they're stations, and that at that time, 500,000 subscribers was, little. The other thing that I learned was if you repeat back to the person that said it, what they said, and they agree with what you said, that you should apologize to that person. The other item that I learned was that if you are not able to convince the other person you're having a conversation with that they're wrong, that it was just a complete waste of time. I just want to take a moment and tell everyone how thankful I am for these guardians of the internet who help us get our thoughts straight. One thing I've noticed about the critics of Kevin Samuels, they seem to want to attack the man, and I have yet to find one that attacks what he has to say. Now, I think that Mr. Samuels' goal is far larger than what he lets on right now. I'm not going to go into my thoughts on it unless he reaches out and asks me to. I think that if he is able to succeed at what he is trying to do, that he truly should be in future history books as a man that saved America. I think we should start a movement to replace Karen with
Regina.
And if not all Karens, we could at least make the black Karen.
Regina.
And I believe that Mr. Samuels should lead the charge because
I'll make you famous.
That's it. Y'all have a great day, and I'm out.